Can I ask an unrelated question?
If you could find one in the universe.
What about genetics? You know, I live I work in a context where everyone proposes that the answer to every disability and to almost every disease is if we could find the genetics of it. And I know vibrational cause, I understand vibrational cause, but what is it? How does this get encoded in genetics? Why can we see these differences in individuals in the genetic code? And can that be true and not causal?
First, we want to say that if scientists and doctors were really accurately interpreting these genetics, they would be having much greater success than they are in the remedies that they are seeking. And we don't think that there is very much value in finding the problem first and then tracing back to something that they are able to see and giving it the label of causation.
I agree.
Because if it were accurate, then not only would they acknowledge that that is the cause of it, but they would have access to the solution. And they usually do not. It's sort of like hitting a pothole and breaking your tire, breaking your axle, and then someone saying, well, that was the cause of that. And we say, well, yeah, but why'd you drive in the hole? And where was your point of focus? And there's so much more to every story than that, you see.
Is the genetic encoding meaningful for anything, or is it just kind of extra information?
Well, let us ask you some questions. Would you describe it as usually after the fact acknowledgement? So it's sort of, again, you already have the physical manifestation, and now you're looking at genetic coding, which is just more of the physical manifestation. So maybe what they're discovering that they're calling genetic coding is being created right along with the disability.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't there for them to see before in that fullest sense. You get what we were talking about?
I do get what we're talking about. That's really helpful to think
There
about.
There are so many people thinking about so many things relative to all of that. And some of it helpful. We are not trying to guide you away from the benefits that you have discovered as you've sifted and sorted through a lot of this. But there is a very big disconnect, and therefore a very big disadvantage that most medicine is experiencing, where they are not factoring in the thing that matters most. And that is the alignment factor, the vortex factor, and the effect of manifestation on it now. So regarding this genetic coding that you're talking about, that's like coming to an end result which you're examining now, and then spending time justifying how you got to that. And every step that is unraveling that is pointed in the wrong direction. Talking about how you got there is completely wrong-headed. It's focused in the wrong direction. When what has actually happened in this culmination of this now experience, which in this conversation we can conclude is unwanted, there is the birthing of a desire that is in that direction. And looking back for causation and lining up with new, clear intention are opposite behaviors and actions and endeavors. So in the same way that we are not really encouragers of trying to figure out why something went wrong, but instead receiving the benefit of the new, clear intentions that are born out of it, whether you are trying to solve a problem or whether you're just wanting a more robust life today than you lived yesterday, you got to be looking in the direction of the vortex, because that's where everything is. The positive emotion that we've been talking about, even here in this conversation, is all about this closing of this gap. And looking for causation is widening that gap every time.